All right, so I ended up staying the night at a friend's, and before I went to sleep last night, y'all gotta excuse me because I didn't really wash my face or anything this morning because, I just woke up. But before I went to sleep last night, I had thought about my situation, and I was like, damn, like they got me out here homeless in Atlanta with no identification. And I thought about when I first took the Greyhound down here, and I thought about what God said something about what they tried to do to me in Atlanta, me and the baby. And then, so when I had finally got accepted into the Salvation Army at the shelter, they were staging stuff to have me out of the Salvation Army because of my case about my babies. And um, when I stayed the night in the shelter, like maybe the first or the second, third night, I don't know, I had went to sleep, and I remember seeing Ice Cube come to me in a vision, and he had shown me these apartments in the cemetery. Um, but this was before I went to stay with Marcus in those apartments by that cemetery, and the Holy Spirit came. The Holy Spirit said, I'm gonna put out this evidence because they was over there trying to keep me from putting out the evidence all over the United States. Well, coming from all over the United States to wherever I was, and trying to target me and keep me from putting out the evidence to my case about my children. And the Holy Spirit came to me while I was in the Salvation Army asleep, and the Holy Spirit said, I'm gonna finish putting out this evidence, meaning that I need to put out the evidence. Like, don't be worrying about what everybody doing to you. Don't worry about what Mark is doing. Don't worry about what the people at the shelter did. Don't worry about what people in the streets is trying to do or family. God was like, the only reason they even doing all the shit that they doing is to try to keep you from putting out that evidence to your case because they know that was dead ass wrong. And the Holy Spirit was like, um, I'm going to put out that evidence, and then I'm going back to Texas. I'm going to Cynthia O'Vera's to see if my son is alive. And this morning I woke up and I was just thinking about how bad they did me, especially when I was over there off Peachtree walking with my suitcase. And I was like, these people done abused me um, all over America. And then they done took my son from me, and I have not seen my baby since the day that somebody was abusing me and my child. And I was like, these evil ass people are monsters, and they took my child and got this white woman over there thinking that she done won, knowing that her son was abusing me. And I'm not even gonna go into too many details about that because y'all know I have spoken on that several times. I just want to go off of what happened before I went to sleep last night. So before I went to sleep, I thought about it, and I was thinking about the vision that I had from the shelter, and the Holy Spirit was like, I'm gonna go out there. After I put out the rest of this evidence that I just need to get out of Atlanta because Atlanta is trying to sell me out. There have been people that looked out for me since I've been here, but the city itself, if y'all look at my visions as far as the majority of the black men out here and the black women, they tried to sell me out. I'm making a video. And so did the police department. I'm just gonna walk right here back real quick. So did the police department, and then several different people targeted me, and y'all know that I met Marcus Mitchell when I got out here. So he basically sold me out, but I think the Holy Spirit was just talking about in general as far as what the government side of Atlanta did because they know that they staged for me to be out of the shelter because they know that I came in that shelter pregnant and they know what them people did to me in Texas, and they know that they took my son illegally. They know it was completely racist and rigged, and they know that the state, the only thing that they can really try to do is say that Andrea was unfit and on the streets, so they needed to help these whites in Texas. Paid me out to be a street walking prostitute and allowed me to be taken advantage of with men all around, offering me drugs and things like that on the streets. They did that on purpose because they know that I have all of the evidence that I won the custody hearing for my son in Texas. I won the criminal case against me in Texas, and they wanted to keep this white woman uh, out of fire in the spirit, because God said that she should not have tried to keep my son from me. So with these blacks and the way that they sell out for a paycheck, instead of them just being like, okay, we're going to help this young black woman. She needs the medical care. She's been psychologically, physically, and mentally abused. We don't really have these type of cases often, but we're going to allow her to stay here, um, and try to do the best we can for her and her kids. Instead of doing that, they decide that they're going to try to keep me out on the streets, knowing my case, knowing my situation. That was really the only card that they really could play, knowing that I got out of that jail coming for my kids. All of my family and friends left me in there out of jealousy and envy of my life, jealous of me and my children, and thought that I would be convicted for having to defend myself. And when I got out, they, black people, they tend to uh, like go for white people as the victims in the situation when they were the aggressors. And black people attack one another a lot, and you don't really find a lot of black people that'll stand up for one another. So when I was being attacked, none of my friends or family, nobody even stood up for me. Nobody in the state, nobody stood up for me and said that that's a male and that's a female, and y'all should not be abusing her. And I saw these three little black girls playing outside in an apartment complex, and they were young with little beads in their hair, and they looked like they were sisters. And I thought about me and my sisters when we were younger, running around playing, and it just really made me realize how innocent I was, that I'm a female and I grew up and somebody was abusing me and I hurt him. But it wasn't because I'm a bad person, but it was because he was hurting me and my child. And here is America being racist towards little black girls and grown women, because I'm a grown woman and I grew up in America and I was a normal girl, teenager, just like anybody else, and somebody was hurting me. But racist America want to turn around and try to use stereotypes that they use to abuse black women, to leave me out on the streets and leave me vulnerable to predators so that they could try to win a case against another black woman where they done screwed me over and took my child and did all this wickedness to my body, and think that you're going to leave me outside pregnant dragging a damn suitcase. Um, and God was like, you're going to put out that evidence and you're going to go back out there to Texas, and he better be alive. I'm almost finished. And that your son, and he better be alive, because Cynthia Overa, Joseph Overa, and a lot of people were coming in the spirit threatening to kill me and my son as retaliation for her son having been shot for attacking me and my son. And they felt like the white man's life who was attacking us, my child father, was more important than me and my sons because we are black. And they even had blacks threatening to kill us for them, because they were saying they worship white people and that this is white people's country, and they know that they kill African American women and babies and they don't have any remorse, and that we should have allowed him to just be abusing me and my boy because we're black, and that they were going to kill us and cover up the evidence and rape him and rape me. And they have been forcing me to have sex. So I don't know what they have done to my boy. And every time I think about the type of people that did this to me, I'm like, these are the type of people that have had my son, and I don't have no reason to to trust anybody with my son. But God, I'm gonna just go to what the Holy Spirit said. God was like, you're gonna put out that evidence, and you going back out there because they think that Atlanta gonna defeat me. They think that they're gonna have me all drugged down and out here. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, yeah.